completely forgotten what day of the week it is. How far am I on this quarantine thing? I think I've been here, like in Memphis, social distancing for almost a month now. And one of the things that I'm still continuing to do is take classes at Harvard. And one of my favorite classes that I'm taking right now is Intro to African American Studies with Dr. Cornel West. And in this past week's class, there was a Q&A where a student asked him this question about how we should be perceiving racial inequity within the coronavirus and all the social injustices that are being exposed. And in the midst of his answer and his response, he said this quote, "Tell the truth and always seek justice." And I wanted to reflect on that, so I wrote a note about it. So in the midst of this pandemic and the social distancing that it's caused, a lot of us are online way more than perhaps we were already. And it can be easy to fall into the trap of misinformation, of buying into the lies and stereotypes. And one of the things that I want to reflect on are the ways in which we can make sure that we are being a part of the truth tellers and not the misinformation. So let's hop into it. One of the things that I think is super important for us before we get to a point of being able to tell the truth is to seek the truth and to receive the truth. With having more time on our hands, my encouragement to you is to make sure that you're reading the things that are being sent your way, and don't just like click and share because people are putting all types of stuff on the internet in order to further spread confusion and lies. Conditions of this pandemic are changing rapidly, day in and day out, hour by hour already. I think we all can take responsibility to help cipher some of the information that's being shared. As an example, the other day, someone sent my mom an article link that was like, President Obama has tested positive for coronavirus. And when I received it, I was like, oh no, let me believe this. Oh, wait, let's check this. But people on the internet out here gaslighting us, spreading fear, etc. It was critical for us to take that step and just see who else is talking about this. Can we find another source that is also saying this? And I couldn't find any other sources that were able to confirm that. And so finding multiple sources, I think is super, super helpful in making sure that we're receiving the truth. The second thing I think we can do is to help things make sense. And to break things down for and with those around us. Everything is just coming at us rapidly, and there's so much confusion. Everyone's trying to figure it all out. And as the new instructions about how to social distance properly and what types of face masks to wear, as all of this stuff changes, I think we all can help break this down and make it simple for everybody to understand. As an example, last week we were still under the recommendation that we should not be wearing masks in public. And this week, there's a whole shift in that perspective of, if we are to go out into public space, yes, wear a mask. And people are making their own masks and PPE, personal protection equipment at home. And it can be easy to be like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna wear a scarf, the scarf will keep me covered. And one of the things that I found helpful in watching was, I think it was Dr. Sanjay Gupta, who was like, if you can see through the scarf, don't wear that scarf. Fold it up, put a filter in it. Finding those types of details in order to help make sure that all of us are equipped with the right stuff, I think is super, super helpful and something that we each can do. The third of these four things that I would say is to really analyze and dispel the lies that are being spread about people. Part of telling the truth and seeking justice go hand in hand in the ways that we advocate and support each other. And right now, Asian Americans are being further targeted because of the ways in which the news and our administration even can make it seem like, they're the targets, they're the reason why we're in this pandemic. And it's upon us to like take that step back and be like, no, like that is, it's all of our responsibility to make sure that we're well, and to make sure that we're speaking up when we see those things happening both online and offline. There's been such a history in the United States of propaganda telling, these lies about Asian Americans or Asians at large. The ways in which even the president calls this the Chinese virus versus the coronavirus, that further perpetuates those stereotypes, which can literally put lives at danger. And the one thing that we can all do is be decent human beings to each other, and dispelling those lies, pushing back, standing up for people. Those are just small things that we each can do in order to show support for each other right now. And then that gets to this last point about seeking justice that I wanted to reflect on, which is finding the resources, finding the folks who are doing the work and being of support even from a distance. Because we're all in our own places, like in our own homes, we can't go out into the streets and march and protest right now, but we can support the organizations that are advocating, especially legally, for the rights of prisoners. And in particular is what I think about. And how do we get to the point where we all do our part to advocate with our state and local governments to follow the Reform Safer recommendations and to advocate for the release of nonviolent offenders. Like, there are so many ways that we can stay active in abolition work, social justice work, all the ways that we can show support for the folks who are in confinement right now, and our elders and our sick, our like the folks who are most vulnerable and most targeted in this pandemic. I would be curious to hear from you all the ways in which you would take a phrase like this, tell the truth and always seek justice, as a way of processing information for yourself. In the comments below, definitely let me know. If I was off about something, let me know that too. Stay in conversation with me on this channel and across the internet. I hope to create even more and just keep conversations going. So be sure to subscribe, follow me on all the places, but also just stay tuned and share back.